mascot, Finbar, with us. Yes. It's really important. I'm so glad that so many of you came out on this beautiful day because it's really important that we get the message out. The polling shows that people are concerned about their futures. And the polling shows that when you ask them, are we going in the right direction or the wrong, overwhelmingly, it's the wrong direction. That we are wearing what's happening on the federal level. So whatever's happening in Congress or with the president or with Ebola, people are scared, they're cynical, and that's going to be reflected in the way they vote. So we have to get to them. We have to get to their doors, we have to talk to them, we have to share the literature with them, we have to let them know that the Democratic candidates are the better candidates. The airways are covered with Charlie Baker. He has raised so much money and he's got so much out there on every possible station, radio or television, and it's all, and we don't have that kind of money to refute it. When he can walk into the Lenox Hotel last week and raise $600,000 in an hour and a half, that's from very wealthy one-percenters, because the rest of us can't raise that kind of money. But we're keeping up. We had a fundraiser last Wednesday night with Martha for women, just a women's fundraiser. That was $100,000. The next night she raised another $200,000. So we are doing it, but we are the small pockets, not the big pockets. So it's really, our game is the grassroots game. We have to make sure that we play that game well, as we always have. And if we do that, we can bring this in, because that race is very tight. But we should have no problem getting people out, hopefully, over the next weeks. We only have how many days?
16.
16 days. 16 days. 16 days to counter, and it's the one-on-ones. It's, hi, how are you? Pass your literature. I hope you vote for the Democratic candidate, or I hope you vote and just go down the list. Because we've got really, really, really good candidates, and we really need to make this happen. The last thing we need to do is have what happened when Well came in. He cleaned house. If you remember, he brought us the big dig. He took over the big dig, fired all of the highway workers, put in 2 private firms that oversaw it, and what happened? Cost overruns 10 times what the original cost was. And all private jobs, all their friends. So, and of course the head of that big dig has now been charged with and found guilty of tax evasion. And he was the guy that used to say the buck stops here, and he fired everybody. So I was thrilled to see that happen to Kirisi. So let's not have a repeat of that sweep. Let's make sure we keep our candidates in and we bring our new Democratic candidates in. So
so much for the environment and for things that he's passionate about. We're grateful to you for that, Matt. And everybody get on board and help this guy get over the finish line. It's been a long race. Best wishes.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Some of the questionnaires I've gotten for from the newspapers and things want to know how any Senate candidate is going to replace Senator Terry Murray. And quite frankly, I tell them that's not going to happen. We're not going to replace her. It's going to be a long time before this district ever sees a Senate president, let alone a female, the first female Senate president again. But think about it. You're going to go from having Terry Murray, who's pretty much brought anything you needed back home to Plymouth County, Plymouth Barnstable District, to going to perhaps a freshman Republican or a freshman Democrat. Now let me tell you this, and Terry, if I'm wrong, Tom, you know this, if you're a Democrat, you're part of the majority party. And that's just that's the truth. The majority party controls what's happening in the Senate. If I'm elected, I'll be able to get into the Democratic caucus, I'll become a chairperson, and I'll be able to see the Senate president. A Republican is not going to have that access to the rest of the Senate. So I also know how to pass legislation. I've done it before, and it's not easy. And my opponent's trying to paint me as somebody who doesn't cooperate with me. And I ask you this, how can you pass 3 major bills and several important components of the Green Communities Act and not cooperate with people. It's not possible. You gotta cooperate with people if you want to move legislation. That's just the way it is. So I know I can do it. We're very close. I need your help. We're neck and neck, and it's all going to come down to this final couple of weeks. And without your help, it will be very difficult to do. So I'm counting on it, and I know my fellow candidates are counting on it. And please join with us in making this happen. Thank you.